Hey, welcome back to Joseph's Reserves. We are here with another penny hunt. So this is box number 7. We're going to be pulling out all the copper, looking for any wheat pennies, any even older designs, and we are going to continue trying to fill our Series 1 book. So here I have our stats. In our Series 1 books, in the small book, we have 27 holes. And in our large book, we have 124 holes. So we still have a lot of wheat pennies to look for. In my personal, I still do have 16 holes in my small book and 41 holes in my big book. So we're going to be filling holes in my personal before we fill holes into the Series 1 book. Let's have a quick look at the books that we've already filled. This is the Series 1 books. So, of course, we've gotten all the shield cents in the first 2 books. Here we have going back to 1975. As you can see, there are a few that I would like to upgrade. So if we do find better condition ones, that would be amazing. Then as we get to the book that goes back to the wheat cents is where we have these holes. I'm going to be prioritizing this small book so that we can fill this up and get this one completed. This one goes back to 1941. So those are more common, easier to find. And then we have our big book here that we've only been able to get a few coins in. The oldest is a 1917. And as we get into the later ones, we do have a bit more. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to open up this box. All right, it looks like no enders here. And I've already taken a good look at the ones on the other side through the holes. So no enders to start. So we'll just start with roll 1. All right, we've got roll number 1 here. What I'm going to try this time is to open up 10 rolls and then do a little bit of a mini wrap up. And then at the end, a full wrap up of the entire box. So let's get right into it. All right, that is our first 10 rolls. So as you can see here, I have these stacks of copper. I did find this nicer 1964 Denver. So we'll keep that aside. I did find two 2009s. I hold on to all of these. We've got the birth and early years and the formative years, both from Denver. Other than that, I do have these side polls. This one I couldn't quite see the date, so we're going to be weighing that up. This one is too scratched up to see the date. However, I can tell it's copper because underneath it there's the copper layer. So I'll add that to my copper stack. I pulled this one aside because I do have a purple collection. And I did pull aside these shinier memorial scents. This one's probably the best looking one, 2001. They might be upgrades, so I pulled those aside. I also did find this one, yellow, 1993. I don't have a yellow collection, but this one is really nice. This one may even be an upgrade. So again, pulled that aside. So let me clean this up and get on to the next 10 rolls. Oh my gosh, guys, I just found a 2025. No way. This is awesome. Dang, look at this. 2025. All right. All right, that is roll 20. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we found. First off, here we have some 2009s, the formative years, and now the professional life. So we'll set those aside. And then I did pull aside two of the 2017 from Philadelphia. They put a P on this penny. It's the only one with the Philadelphia mint mark to commemorate 225 years of making pennies in Philadelphia. So I got two of those. I make rolls of these, the nicer conditioned ones, and then just hold on to the rest of them. And then here are the coppers. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, I have them all stacked up. This is the first 5 rolls. And then the second 5 rolls, I kind of did a comparison. You could see in the second 5 rolls, there was a little bit more copper. But we did find these 2 shiny copper coins in, I remember this was in the second roll, or the second group. I think it was in the first group of those, but we're going to be pulling these aside. Very nice copper looking coins. And then in these 10 rolls, we did find 4 wheat cents. I aim for 10 in a box, so now we are right on par. The first 10 rolls, we didn't find any, and then we found 3 in roll 10 through 15, making up for the 2 that we should have gotten, and then another one in roll 15 to 20. So let's take a look at what years these are. Let's do it in order. The earliest one we've got so far is a 1942 from Denver. Then a 1944 from Denver. A 1953 from San Francisco. And then a 1954 from San Francisco. So some 40s and 50s coins there. And I'm actually going to leave these over in the top corner. Then my side pulls here, I did end up with a couple purple looking ones for my purple collection. 2016, this is a 2000. Maybe with some cleanup, this one will look more purple. Then some shiny memorial cents. Oh, this one is an 82. It could be a copper, so I'll put that with the shiny coppers. And then these for the shiny zinc cents. This side pull here, in my first box, I found probably about 20 that are in this like darkened looking state. So I'm going to check to see if this fits with the overall look of those that I pulled aside in that box. And even though we have 4 wheat cents, this feels like the star of the show so far, a 2025 from Philadelphia. The 2025 are incredibly low mintage. They stopped making them in February, so these are definitely going to be more valuable if we don't make any more into 2025. I know that some people are finding full boxes of these and selling them on eBay or other auction sites for just a ridiculous amount, so definitely going to be holding on to this one. Now we've gotten to roll 30. So here we have more 2017 with the Philadelphia mint mark. We've got more 2009s. Here are our coppers. So this is from the first 5 rolls and the second 5 rolls. We got 2 shinier copper ones, a 79 and a 61. And 2 first-year Memorial Scents, both from Denver, 1959. So, as far as copper, those first 5 rolls definitely did better. In addition to that, in the first 5 rolls, we did find our next wheat scent. This is a 1934. The 4 looks a little bit wonky there, but it looks more like it was a 6. Looks like it's a 1936 from Philadelphia in pretty beat up condition. So that is wheat scent number 5. We're gonna call it a 1936. Then I do have these that I couldn't make out the date. Oh, I'm seeing it right now. That's not one. We're gonna weigh these to see if they are copper. Zinc, zinc, zinc. Ah, bad luck. All right. And speaking of zinc, these are all of these shiny zincs we pulled aside. So for 30 rolls, we are now at 5 wheat cents. So we're just 1 behind our goal for the box. Let's see if the rest of the box can pick up the slack. All right, that is roll 50. I have these here that I need to weigh to see if they are copper. Let's go ahead and do that first.
Zinc, 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 and zinc.
Then I have these purple collection candidates, so I'll set that aside. Some shinier zinc. These are my coppers. It's a pretty clear winner. First 5 rolls and second 5 rolls, both of which I got a 1959 from Philadelphia this time. This one's got a pretty interesting color to it. It's almost gray looking. When I first saw it, I actually thought it was a steel scent. So 1959s, looking pretty good. We'll go ahead and throw these into our copper. And I did find 2 more wheat cents. This is a 1952 from Denver and a 1944 from Philadelphia. So now we're up to 7 wheat cents. Let's go ahead and get these in order here. All right. We got our last 10 rolls here. All right, that was roll number 50. So let's go ahead and see what was in those last 10 rolls. I do have a purple collection candidate there, a 2009. This is the presidential years design, so I officially got one of each design of the 2009 coins. Some shinier zinc ones that might upgrade our book. This one here that I have to weigh. That one's copper. And then our copper coins, my other tower fell, but here is roll 5 through 10. And then roll 1 through 5 here. Looks like there was a bit more in 5 through 10. We got 2 shinier ones there and a shinier one for that pile. And it looks like we did not find any more wheat cents. We still have 7 for the box. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and go all the way through these zinc cents. These are the shields, and these are the memorials. I'm gonna go ahead and go through all those looking for errors off camera, and then I will bring you in for a full wrap up. All right, everyone. So I have all of these buckets separated to shield cents, zinc memorial cents, and copper memorial cents. I went through and figured out which are the better dates for each of these 3 categories. So I pulled out all of these better dates. These are not all from this box. I think this is 2 boxes I started pulling all these out. I plan on making a tube for each of these dates and then upgrading those 50 within that tube until I get a full tube of the best looking ones of these dates. It's not that these are all that hard to find. However, they're harder to find in a really nice condition. So it'd be nice to have 50 of a decent condition. These are all ones that were less than 3.5 billion minted. And I was actually able to use the same number for these better date zinc memorial cents. These ones are actually all from this box. I started pulling these out on this box. Again, less than 3.5 billion minted. And I'm going to be doing the same thing with these. These ones, I put key date as less than 500 million minted. These semi-key dates as less than 1 billion minted. These better dates, I added up all of the mintages of every year and created an average. And these are the only other 2 that were lower than that average. So these are the dates that I'm setting aside for this. And then I'm also going through and pulling out all of the red coppers, separating them from the brown coppers. And this is after I upgraded the folder. There was a lot of upgrades in this folder because we found a lot of red copper cents. Over in this corner, we have the wheat cents that are left. I was able to update our books. So we have 3 that went into the small book for series 1. None of them made it into the big book. And then it looks like 3 went into my personal small book. However, I miscounted. I must have counted the wheat reverse and this memorial reverse right here. So I do actually only have 13 holes in this book for my personal small book. So this is what we have left over. The 3 that went into this book plus 1 that actually went into this book, and the 3 over here makes up the 7 that we pulled out of this box. And I know you're looking at this one thinking, wait, we didn't see that one. These are actually the upgrades. We upgraded 2 of our wheat cents, and then this is the only one left on the table that we found in the box. This is the 1936. The 1936 Philadelphia, that is the only remaining wheat cent that did not go into a book. Then I did find 2 errors. Let me see, well, 3 errors, but these are the shield cent errors. Let me see if I can magnify this and you guys can see what I found. So I didn't find any of this error in any books or anything online, but as you can see there, the VDB is almost stretched or doubled right there on Lincoln's shoulder. Might be able to see it better on the 2015. Yeah, right there is pretty good. It almost looks like it was struck at some weird angle and it made it elongated. So I'm going to do a little bit more research on that and figure out what exactly that is. And the other error I found is this 1984. I lost my pen, so I didn't want to keep it in a blank flip. But I'll be flipping this up later. This is a repunched mint mark. You could see in the southeast of the one on top, there's some raised material underneath that other mint mark. So it looks like when they were punching the mint mark, they did it incorrectly and repunched this one. So those are the varieties that we found. Other than that, I have laid out the 2009s and 2017 from Philadelphia that I pulled out. I did go through and see if any of these upgraded. None of them did, but I always pull aside any of these, and just like the better date coins, I am making full tubes and keeping these nice shinier ones in a full tube of 50. Then over here I have some side pulls that are some collections I've been working on. Some toner ones. I mostly collect purple ones, but there are sometimes some yellow ones that I like that I save in there. These are all of the colorful ones that I saved. Speaking of sometimes some yellow ones, this is an interesting looking one that I pulled aside. It looks like it was really yellow, and then this outer copper layer is starting to wear off on that. It just looks very interesting to me. And then also set aside, I have this darkened collection. Almost all of these I pulled out from a single box, and they all kind of had the same darkened spotted look. And I was able to find this one in this box. It's not as spotted, however, if I kind of mixed it in, I probably would not be able to tell the difference based on just the look. So I find that fits into this collection. All right, and really the only other thing to go over is this one right here. This is pretty much the star of the show at this point. This 2025 from Philadelphia is not in amazing condition, but it's the first one I've ever seen in person. I'm super excited to have it. This is just awesome. When I'm filming this, it's May of 2025. As of right now, we are not making any more pennies, and no one knows if we will ever resume making pennies. So it's possible this could be the last year of the penny, or at least the Lincoln Memorial cent, or the Shield cent, really, the Lincoln cent. This could easily be the last penny that was ever made. So I'm definitely going to be holding on to this. All right, well, that is it for this hunt. We got copper, we got some wheats, we got some semi-key dates here. Really, this one is probably going to end up being a key date, and lots of side pulls, even some mint errors. It's a pretty good box, guys. Well, if you like this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe. And if you know someone that might be interested in content like this, make sure you share this video to them. But most of all, thank you for watching. Well, that feels pretty good.